take it as an insult. I think calling someone a coward is describing your character. The lack of courage.
Yeah.
And what brought this about? I was a member of the speakers panel. My name was approved by the honorable on the floor of the house.
Yes.
Unanimously. All members supported me. And my name was passed on the floor of the house to be a member of the speakers panel. Then I realized, that is an added responsibility. So you earn responsibility allowance on your payslip. So I think I just served for 2 or 3 months. Around June, I didn't notice until end of August. I didn't notice the speaker secretly wrote to the HR department to terminate me, to inform them that I'm no longer a member of the speakers panel, and gave another honorable member's name who was not appointed procedurally, who we don't know. Even the HR department claimed that just go to the clerk, they tell you that person is, we are not in a position to reveal the name, but someone else is already earning that allowance. What is rightfully entitled to me?
Kweli.
And I realized after 3 months, because I rarely go and ask for my payslip to see, and that bank account that I use for my salary, I use it to transact a lot of business. So, there is a procedure as per standing order. And I expect the Honorable Namatsi, my speaker, who is a lawyer by profession, to understand clearly what the law states and what the standing orders are. Our standing orders are very clear on the process and procedure of removing anyone from the speaker's panel. He is supposed to notify the House Business Committee. That conversation should go back to the same house which appointed me to justify what are the reasons behind this and to have me removed. Alternatively, if he found, I'm told I'm a bit intimidating, if he found that he could not work well with me, he would have just faced me and tell me I'm not comfortable with 1, 2, 3. I would have honestly offered a resignation letter from that position.
Lakini mheshimu unajua mtu anaweza sema even if you were removed over there and lawfully without following due process, calling him a coward, really, how does it connect with you being removed?
He ought to have served me a letter to notify me the same. It is extremely unfortunate I learned about that 3 months later, when everybody was, in fact, they pay bloggers to put in on a local county WhatsApp groups that have been dismissed from the speaker's panel. So I decided, let me go and check with the HR department, and I demanded for my pay slips. Then I realized June, July, August, I was not paid. So I reached out to him on phone. I tried to reach out to him to hear his side of the story. He declined. The HR department say he had no reason. He didn't highlight any reason.
Wow.
For me, that is intimidation. For me, that is victimization.
It's only fair kama speaker angekuwa hapa pia to scare his side of the story. But at least sasa me clarify. Now we know. But do you regret calling him a coward?
I don't think so. Because you see, I just went now, because there was no way of me reaching out to him. I just went to our WhatsApp group and told him, it is a cowardice act for you to dismiss me and secretly write to the HR department that you've terminated my work as a member of speaker's panel without following the right procedure.
All right.
You even had the opportunity to serve me a letter. You declined. So that is what I said. And I also don't think...
Let me ask you, were you replaced by a man, a gentleman, or another lady?
That name remains a secret of whoever is earning that, unless maybe we legally now do an inquiry on who it was, but the HR department confirmed somebody replaced me. Again, I hold that position in the interest of my party. Meaning, if I'm leaving that position, a member of DAP Kenya was to replace me. And by the way, 3 weeks ago, after I had made noise, it's when now they took a proposal of a name of her, because I told them I'm no longer interested. So that's when they took Honorable Segero's name. It has been proposed, it's yet to be approved on the floor of the House to replace me in that position.
Okay, so maybe we shouldn't dwell on that too much. As we keep it moving, of course, today is a special day, the International Day of the Girl Child. And now, Kichiketa, the trend in previous elections, we saw quite a number of women getting into leadership positions, not just politics, but at a corporate Kenya in general, From where we've come from, kutoka hizo days, independence, is this evident that women are rising in society? Is this evidence that women are taking up important roles and we should take them seriously now?
It is clearly evidence. Women have taken up leadership role across the sphere. And I think this has been brought about because there's been a lot of awareness creation. People are now realizing that a woman can still be able to deliver in leadership role just like a man. And that's why you see we are having more governors. As time goes by, the numbers are increasing.
Yes,
I think 2013 we didn't have a single female governor. In 2017 we had 3.
Yes.
In 2022 the number is increasing, and that is a good trend. And you even realize slots like being brought up like nominated slot. It is just to create a platform for us to empower ourselves so that we can now go back to the ballot and seek mwananchi goodwill based on our performance to get a chance to now go and serve as elected.
And right, because you're a first time MCA, Sindo.
Yes.
So how's that role? How is it for you? Imekuwa challenging ama are you excited about the opportunities? How has it been ever since uingie kwa your position? Upate your kiti nominated MCA.
Okay, for me, I've been in active space working with the county government, pushing for policy, doing social accountability and follow up. So I understand the processes as much. But you know what inspired me to push to be in that assembly? And I knew the dynamics that exists when going through the ballot like I went through in 2017. I needed a platform to grow myself because it also takes a lot of finances and etc. So I was a lead campaigner for my deputy governor who stepped down from a gubernatorial race to join with Fernandez, and it exposed me a lot. I understand politics better. I can express myself better today than I was before. So for me, it is a walk you through the journey of leadership. It takes a lot. So we just need to do more emphasis on empowering girl child through mentorship. Like what we've been doing, we've been engaging girls in school from that level, from high school. Those who are between 18 to 25 years, because you see that is a mass, a population that has always been a bit ignorant. When they lack mentorship, they don't see the need to pursue such opportunities in leadership, whether in corporate, in politics, even in the very local level. Even today we see I have my sub chief is a lady and she's doing very well. But before, you see those are positions that we only see men endear themselves to and women shying away from them. So to have that balanced society and to have more girls transist into leadership, there is need for mentorship, which has been lacking.
All right, Kev.
Yeah.
Mimi niko na muhesha, mimi na like vile muhesha naenda manze. So far mimi na like usimanta nimetulia.
You enjoy the conversation.
Yeah, but muhesh kuna history ya western, especially uko western, about the early marriages. Na vile kwanza sasa hivi vile economy imepiga, mademu wengi, wasichana wengi, depression imepanda, wako hizo mambo za early marriage. Mtoto ni mdogo lakini rudi akona watoto 2 watatu, na maybe ule bwana anategemea ndio ule saa kazi ndio tunaona vile kunaenda. Nyinyi ambao mko kwa hiyo sasa mmechaguliwa kama leaders, mmeshameka na any other kind of mechanism vile mtu anaweza saidika at least amalize masomo. Civic education ya kwa nini ni important, the girl child akwa anaenda shule. Sasa tunaona tunaongelea story ya mademu wa form 1 form 2 at least wameshashika, but tuna notice bado at the same time kuna watoto wengi sana wazazi wao waamini na mambo ya msichana kwenda shule. So ukumalika huko kwenye West, mnafanya kitu kama hiyo?
Kakamega, situation is tough. But we are working towards addressing those issues. Nikidhani it's not just about early marriage. It is early pregnancies. Because you find wanapata watoto wakiwa wadogo na si ati wamoleka. And sometimes, most cases, we've been I pushed for Kakamega County GBV policy, which is now in place to address such issues. And you find mingi unapata ni incest. You find most of them are in Kakamega, they are manipulated, but within the family cycle. It's just an uncle.
Biological father.
Even 2 weeks ago, last week I had a case of a standard 4 child who is impregnated by the uncle. And the father is telling her, "Enda huko ujengewe nyumba waleke."
What?
A class 4 child.
What?
And so we have to intervene legally. One, we have to see how do we take this child into safe custody. And then how now do we pursue the legal process to ensure there is justice. So nikidhani we are making progress. The fact that as a county we have a policy to address issues of teenage pregnancy and GBV itasaidia sana, na pia tukiendelea kuelimisha jamii wakae wakijua ukifanya hii ni makosa. Na pia changamoto nyingine imekuwa kubwa sana ni wasichana wetu wamepotoka sababu ya peer pressure. Social media has exposed our young girls to many things. So today hakuna mtu anaenda kukaa na elder aulize maswali inquiry nini. Wanataka kugoogle, wanaona watu wanafanya ABCD, they want to experiment, and in the process they end up ruining their life.
Let me ask you something.
So mostly tunawapea mafunzo, tunakaa nao. Hata leo tuko na kikao nimepanga na tunafanya na Mheshimiwa Modesta Auka wa Mayakalo Ward, just engaging young girls in our community as we celebrate this day on making informed decision. That is what's important. Informed decision. You should know, if I have sex I will get pregnant. If I get pregnant I'll ruin my education, because unajua kijana ataendelea na masomo, hakuna siku atakaa nyumbani, lakini msichana itabidi ukae uzae, na katika hiyo kuzaa wengi wanakufa. Ukiangalia statistics, most of them die at a very young age because of such complications they develop. Na ina affect now the rest of their future. Even the women rep, I want to appreciate her because she's taken most of these girls and enrolled them back to school.
Oh, nice.
So that they can be able to be self-sufficient and empowered. Because when you have education, you have a starting point on how you can be able to fix your life.
About education, sorry Kev, about education, especially girl education. Kuna history imekuwa ikiendelea juu mambo ya early pregnancy na mambo ya shule vile imekuwa. So kumekuwa na issue kubwa ambayo inadebatiwa if it's important sex education ianze kufundishana kwa shule kuanzia watoto wakiwa wadogo. Unaionaje upande yako? Do you support it?
I have been an SRHR advocate, sexual reproductive health rights. So it is important for a child, at least akiwa teenagehood, to understand the consequences and what sex can do to hinder their life, so that they make informed decision. When you deny them information, hii generation tuko nayo sahi, they will still go out and find everything in the internet, and they'll go and they are very curious. They'll go and explore, and in the process they'll just get to where you are trying to avoid.
I want to look at this.
So in generation ya sahi, give them information. Let someone have information, then they'll have the power to decide what they want, if they are choosing this path or this other path. Information
is so important, and also it leads to empowerment. Na tunajua hizi the women have made in our country is mostly due to information and empowerment from before. Because I feel like what the government did, even the guys in the private sector, is they exposed women to information, like getting them early into school, making sure wanamaliza shule, going to communities, wanakuwa na hizi mabaraza nini. So information is powerful. And ukiangalia, I want to go back to ile statement uli mentioned, Mesh, talking about how in 2013 we had no female governor. 2017 we had 3, now we have 7. I'm seeing we have several DGs, but also in terms of cabinet we have, I think, about 10 CSs. Do you think that the reason we got here was mostly because of empowerment, and for us to now to make more strides when it comes to getting women into positions of leadership, there has to be more and more empowerment back to kwa mashinani sasa, for us to actually get to those levels where we can be proud of ourselves as a nation? So ideally I'm saying, do we need more empowerment?
Yeah, empowerment, that is a continuous process. We have communities that they're still left behind, and they need to be empowered and be more enlightened so that they can pursue such opportunities. But so far so good, we've made progress. And I think also the fact that we live in the digital era, it has contributed a lot, because there's a lot of information out there. So people are informed, and people are making informed decision on who they want to put in office. And I think it has also created a platform for women who are coming up in leadership spaces to also reach out to the generation that is into so much digital space than you won't get them in political rallies and such activities to sell your agenda and to win their votes. So there's been a lot of things that have been contributing to us that, and we are making good progress. We are making good progress.
How do you manage your expectations as an individual when it comes to you being in a leadership position? You are MCA. Kwa sababu niko sure vile ulianza hii conversation, we're talking about Kakamega being a patriarch society. And sasa hata kama una bwana, for example, I'm sure people won't vote for you. Uko ni noma kwa ground. But how do you manage expectations? How do you navigate your way around when it comes to matters culture, when it comes to matters your role? Lazima udeliver kazi yako kama MCA when it comes to matters because I also feel like the accountability bar for women is so high. It is set so high. Ukifanya tu kitu kidogo hivi. For example, you saw how even the other day Senator of Nairobi, nominated Senator Karen Nyamu, how she was in Dubai, and, she was there partying and people called her out. So you as an individual, how do you navigate all these pressures, all these expectations? How do you reorganize your life?
It is a bit of a tall order, because either way you can never make everyone happy. But of importance is to understand your mandate and to what limit, and also to try and reach out to those expectations that are manageable. Because, for me, coming from a patriarchal society, it is just a perception. Somebody believes a woman can't lead. But if I'm in this space and I'm able to execute my mandate the right way, I believe I'll be able to win 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 followers, 10 campaigners. So tomorrow, if I'm going for an elective position, they'll say, we know you, we know what you did, and they'll judge me based on my performance. So it is a work in progress, and it's not something that I expect to attain overnight. And it takes a lot of resources as well. So I'm building myself all around that space as we prepare towards 2027.
Okay.
Yeah.
Muhesh, ni International Day of the Girl Child, unaona? Na mimi ningetaka sana kudwell kwa hiyo, especially tukisema ni Girl Child Day, tuweke ni Western ama ni madem wote, unaona? Ukiwa hapa on behalf ya wale wasichana wako area. Kuna history imekuendelea, na hivyo tuko tunasema information is power. If shared ni empowerment. Kasi wanasema statistic, wanasema mali kama Western, Nyanza, Malika Coast, Mombasa, Kilifi, those are the leading places za what young ladies, in fact young girls wanna get pregnancy, na wengi wanapata HIV. Wanapata, in fact statistically wanasema like in the half the year tumekuwa like watu wa miaka kutoka 10 to 17 years 20% wamejipata kuna HIV. Wewe malume kasai Muhesh, ukiangalia the government of the day vile inachukulia hizi vitu, inachukulia, is it aggressive enough? Inafanya exactly vile inafaa? Inatumana, inatoa power yake, inajaribu kupatia civic education ifikia watoto wetu kweli vile inafaa? Ama bado sofa ni kastori tukajaba wanaichukua na hii side nyingine na
I think the government has a lot of work to do. And you look, okay, before we look at what the government needs to look back and see what is causing our young girls to get into early pregnancy. You'll be surprised somebody is being compromised to have sex just to get a sanitary packet. The way the government is taxing us on everything, why don't we have tax waiver on sanitary towels, so that to make it affordable for them, so that it is not a reason for them to miss school, it is not a reason for them to get sexually compromised because they can't afford it. Right? So I think there's a lot the government that needs to do.
Yeah.
And also, can it be able to make it affordable in schools? They had started an initiative, but these parts were being supplied through the Office of the Women Rep. But you find the Office of the Women Rep is also a political office. And most of the time there were complaints, it was not reaching out to all schools. So the program failed at that level. So we need to find a different way to have this addressed, and using the administrative in the education system that exists to make sure we are supplementing our girl child. They are being kept in school. They are not compromised for such petty things to ruin their lives. And also, I'm worried with the current economic status. I know most families are struggling to get a meal. Now you can imagine how many people will go out of their way just to get something. Right? Hata ukiangalia tu society yetu, wachana na watu wa shule, hii society tu ya sahi, mademu ya young, imekuwa like paka upate mbaba, unatafuta mbaba ndiye kusustain na kwa ile maisha
unataka.
Yeah, when you can work diligently through the process and earn a decent living as a person. So you see, also the society is setting up precedents, a certain culture, a certain mentality, we need to get away from that
mindset zetu.
Yeah, we need to change our mindset as a society generally.
Alright.
Because definitely our wasichana wadogo wale wako shuleni, they're looking up to their elders. And how are they conducting themselves? How are they carrying themselves? You know, sometimes they can get influenced by maybe just a story, even just a celebrity on social media. If you are creating the perception that you need a man who has ABCD to do for you ABCD, you know, people will start not working towards them achieving their goals, but everybody out there is looking for someone who can keep them. And they don't care. And that's when you start getting diseases and everything else.
If I want us to take a short break, alafu tukirudi, we talk about maneno ya Meru County. He says Meru County, there's an impeachment conversation that's going down.
Yeah.
We've also seen it happening in Nyamira. Is it a matter of Governor Mwangaza being a lady? That's why tunaona hiki tu kina Mramba. Ama truly, she's not up for the job. We'll be talking about that. Pia, remember, you can give us a call. Today is the International Day of the Girl Child. And guys, if you don't know, we're hanging out with Honorable Victoria Zillah. She's nominated MCA County Assembly of Kakamega. Good morning, guys. Tunarudi in a bit. Don't move.
More vibes to keep you moving.
The International Day of the Girl Child, we're focusing on women in leadership, especially at county level. Yes, have we made strides? Do we still have a lot to achieve, a lot to do, so that madame, especially the ones in leadership, wanafeel kama wana add value vile nafaa? Let's talk about that. Kama kuna comment ama swali, remember guys, 0719012700. Let's go to Laikipia. Gideon, good morning.
Niaje?
Fiti sana Gidi, uko fiti?
Uko fiti?
Sawa, ingia kwa hiyo conversation. Remember tuko na Honorable Victoria Zillah. Leo ni International Day of the Girl Child, Women in Leadership. Unadayaje bro?
Number one, I have a daughter.
Oh nice,
Na mumu bambika sana huyo dem. Aya, Mwesh.
Anakusikiza?
Aya, let me ask. When women are doing campaign, do they really wanakuwa na hiyo confidence that wanajua watapata hiyo kiti?
Are you saying women in general ama any position ama ya MCA because she's an MCA? We talking about any position, okay.
Any position.
Yeah, so do they have the confidence that wanaweza get?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Sawa.
Yes.
Gidi should give you a response. Acha nishike ya mama haraka. Gidi namuuliza, do women really have the confidence that they can maneuver, they can navigate their way to leadership kwa political arena? Fire mama, good morning. Oh, pole sana yeye imekatika. Let's go to Kikuyu. Ras Farmer, good morning. Niaje bro?
Yeah man.
Karibu sana kwa conversation. Buda leo tuko na Honorable Victoria Zillah. Unadayaje bro? Ras Farmer, karibu sana bro, tunakuget.
Aya.
Yo Ras. Aya. Ras Farmer, talk to us. Aya, acha tuongee na Fire Mama. Ras Farmer, hebu nipigie simu. Fire Mama, good morning.
Good morning to Kevin Matara.
Karibu sana Fire Mama.
Careful Badman.
Yaje mami?
And Mwesh Victoria.
Victoria Mwesh.
Mwanzo.
Good morning.
Ana majina mawili ya Baptist. Wapi ya mama Mwesh? Jina ya mama.
Jina mama anauliza jina mama ni gani?
Those are my two names and Ungai, my father's name.
Ungai.
Bungai.
No, Ungai.
Ungai. Uko sawa, naulizaje?
Yes.
Kwa nini watoto wetu wa kike wengi wao wanataka kujipondoa na ili hali wako shuleni? Mavazi yao wanaovaa inapaki uchi, yani nusu uchi. Kwa nini msiandalie hawa watoto mwanzo kujipondoa, labda kabla hawajamaliza masomo yao? Na hizi nguo fupi wanavaa nazo zinavutia wanaume, na ndizo unakuta sasa wanapata mimba tukiolela. Kusema kweli ni wazi.
Alright.
Ile yani zinavaa kufunikwa wameweka wazi. Unaonaje mheshimiwa mkifanya counseling yao watoto wetu kabla wajangamia?
Alright, asante sana Fire Mama. Thank you so much. VybezRadio, good morning. Hello. Hello.
Good morning.
Niaje bro.
Hello.
Niaje. Tunaongea na nani?
Blackman Timba hapa.
Blackman, karibu sana bro. Tuko na Honorable Victoria Zillah, MCA Kakamega County. Unadayaje? Any question or comment?
Niko na swali.
Eh.
Dangu ni Ibele.
Ninio?
Kuna mademu wanakatia mademu.
All right.
LGBTQ.
Leo
Mimi kwa ndio ndogo na cheki. Tokea nje kila Friday saa Sunday venye unaona Kanairo ni.
All right. Sasa nimeget your question. We're going to ask Mhesha clarify history LGBTQ. VybezRadio, good morning. Morning bro, tunaongea na nani?
Tunaongea na Jose kutoka Maimahio.
Jose, nakupatia 20 seconds. Swali yako ni gani ama comment kwa sababu tunafaa kusikiza news?
Hapana, ni salamu tu,
Okay.
namsikiza hapa. Safi.
Safi sana bro, asante sana maze. Na cheki calls ni mob, but unfortunately right now we're at the top of the hour. In fact, we'll switch some gears. Mhesh will respond to all these questions in the next hour, right after the news. But nimecheki hapa hivi kuna faya mama amesema history ya madem kudunga vikinki, you know, kujipodoa, they're putting themselves in problems. Alafu kuna history ya confidence in winning. When women get into elective kwa campaigns especially, do you run to win or do you run for the experience? Are you confident you can actually win something? And of course pia kuna amesema history ya LGBTQ. We'll continue. Nachekipia ma comments ni mobs sana, ma questions ni mob on our hashtag Morning Vibes. Remember guys, we are with Honorable Victoria Zillah. She's a nominated MCA Kakamega County. Right now, time for the news. Sambili Kamili, twende kazi. Good morning guys, keep it locked and don't move,
Feel the rhythm, feel the vibe. Vibes Radio.
The news at the top of the hour on Vibes Radio.
Good morning, this is Newsroom Dennis Azeto. Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has urged the donor community to meet their end of the bargain in supporting thousands of refugees being hosted by Kenya, citing lack of funds as a major inhibitor to improving their livelihoods. Speaking in Geneva at an event aimed at marking the World Refugee Day, Mudavadi outlined delays in the implementation of the Shirika Plan that seeks to transform refugee camps into integrated settlements where the necessary social amenities will be constructed, while urging the developed nations to expand their scope and increase options for resettlement. He underscored steps Kenya had taken to aid the refugees' lives and live a decent life, for instance in Kakuma and Dadaab. And President William Ruto will today preside over the passing out ceremony for the newest cohort of forest rangers. The pass-out parade will be conducted at the Forest Law Enforcement Academy at the National Youth Services Paramilitary Academy in Gilgil, Nakuru County. Kenya Forest Service Chief Conservator of Forest Alex Lamarcocco said the 2,664 recruits have undergone 6 months of paramilitary training and are now competent and ready for deployment to various duty stations. Now, the Kenya Marine and Fisheries Institute is piloting a saline water purification technology that could revolutionize agriculture in arid and semi-arid areas of Kenya. The technology also aims at producing lithium, a natural element used in the manufacture of lithium metal and lithium-ion batteries, heat-resistant glass and ceramics, and lithium grease lubricants, among others, known as the seawater greenhouse technology and lithium mining from salt water works project. The technology is being piloted at Kadzuhoni area of Magarini sub-county, Kilifi County, and is one of such projects in Africa, the other one being piloted in Somalia. Dr. Joseph Nyinge Kamau, a research scientist at Kemfrey, says that the technology is feasible in areas that have huge amounts of saline water, strong winds and high temperatures such as Turkana County and Bamba in Kilifi County. Former President Uhuru Kenyatta has condemned the escalation of hostilities, killings and displacements in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. In his capacity as the facilitator of the East African Community-led Nairobi peace process on the restoration of peace and stability in Eastern DRC, Uhuru called for immediate cessation of hostilities in the region. The Eastern DRC is the site of ethnic conflict and violent resource competition involving the M23 rebels and the Congolese security forces. Now, a young woman in Trans Nzoia County wants justice for allegedly being deprived of more than 20 acres of land that was given to her by a grandfather before he died. The mother of 6 claims that her mother, who had separated from her father and had other children elsewhere, has collaborated with an administration official to sell the land.
Mimi ni Rucha Gatrono, mkaji wa Swerwa Settlement Scheme. Kwa hakika ninadai haki yangu. Abu aliona tu ni vyema achua shamba kama administrator. Lot 112 ilikuwa the first born daughter ya kijana wake, na yeye baadaye akakuja akaaka, na on the year 2006 tukafanya succession na nikapewa grant kule kotini. My mother alikuwa amekuwa away kwao, sasa niko na step children wengine, ni kama alioleka kwingine, lakini unfortunately kwa sasa ninapoongea mama mzazi aliajak sub chief wakaanza kuuza hilo shamba. Mimi sina shamba, ninateseka mimi na watoto wangu.
She says the sons have stopped going to school and a sickness continues to weigh down on her.
Maana watoto wangu wamesambaratika. Ofisi ya Chief Justice Kenya inisikilie kilio changu na initetee kabisa kwa koti ya Kitale nipate haki kwa urithi ambaye niliwachiwa. Inisaidie nipate haki kwa urithi huo ya Swerwa Settlement Scheme. Plot 112, 10.5 acres. Mimi mwenyewe hali ya afya ndio hii mbaya. Sina matibabu, natumia mitishamba kwa sababu ya kupunguza uchungu makali ya kinonda ambayo imejamu.
One of her relatives, Grace Rono, has described what happened to Ruth as a serious violation of the constitution and her rights.
Hata mimi naomba serikali kweli wamsaidie, hata kama iko mwenye anaweza kumsaidia kwa upande wa matibabu, na unaona vile imekuwa kubwa. Anasema sasa ilienda ikaongezeka wakati alikuwa ndani. Sasa hii kila mtoto ako na haki, akiwe msichana akiwe mvulana, bora ni mtoto wako, lazima umtendee haki, yeye na aishi kama watoto wengine, kwa sababu saa hii serikali inahimiza kila mtoto achungwe.
According to statistics, only 2% of women have land titles in the country, proving that women are still oppressed. This is Newswire. Dennis Aseto. Good morning.
FM Eldoret on VybezRadio. This is the Modern Vibes on VybezRadio. Modern Vibes, where you are the MVP.
Let me hear a drum play.
Rise and shine to positive vibes with the MVPs every morning.
And now for our feature presentation.
VybezRadio, very good morning to you. We are #Morning Vibes. Mimi naitwa Kevo Matara.
Kama kawaida manze, huyo ni energy provider, the beast himself.
Yeah. Say all my good stuff.
Yeah man, kama kawaida Kevo Barman hapa, the word magician Mr. Udini. Keeping it real manze, na mhesho wetu hapa Victoria Zillah manze from MCA wa Kakamega. Manze, as we proceed to give exactly what you need manze. Frequencies zetu kawaida manze, Mombasa 98.7, 98.8. Tukonga areas za Nyeri, Maika manze, Meru is all about 107.1 and Bigo Kanairo 104.5. This is the real thing, the real deal manze, ni MVP Morning Vibes.
Exactly.
On VybezRadio.
And today, remember, we are celebrating International Day of the Girl Child. Now, did you know? Did you know that around 90% of adolescent girls and young women do not use the internet in low-income countries?
Oh, yeah.
Like in Africa, for example, where their male peers are twice as likely to be online. And actually, tuambia leo theme of the International Day of the Girl Child ni gani?
Digital. It's about digital. What is the right word? Today the theme is focused on how girl child can embrace the digital space.
Right.
Yeah.
And we think it's such a very important theme because we know the opportunities and ziko kwa hiyo digital space. But Mhesh, tulifungua phone lines. Mafans wakapiga simu. We call them our MVPs. And there are certain points of concern hapa hivi wangependa address before I ask you issues to do with Meru County. Fire Mama alipiga simu akasema wasichana wadogo wameanza kujipodoa at a very young age. They're wearing kinky clothes. Jana pia I read a report here talking about how young girls are thronging into the CBD on a Friday evening. Girls who they look like teenagers. Wamevaa vibaya nini. So Fire Mama's concern is, as she's saying as a mother, anaona vibaya kwa sababu they're exposing themselves to danger. You know, and then there's another one, another brother of ours akapiga simu akasema, what goes on through the mind of a woman akirun for a political position a political seat, do they actually have confidence in winning these positions, these elective positions? Ama they just go there for the experience? And then another one called and says, based on what we saw in Mombasa, where tuliona ule MP Jicho Pevu alikuwa pale ana protest, they were demonstrating against the rise of LGBTQ within the Mombasa County and society in general. So maybe you can tackle all these things and then I ask you about Meru County.
Okay, quick one. Swali mzuri sana hapo from Fire Mama.
Kujipodoa podoa.
Unajua watoto kujipodoa. Unajua society anasema sisi tunafaa tuwaimize.
Yep.
But you know, raising a child, we have several pillars. There's a role the church or the religious institution plays. There's a role the family plays. That is the parent. And there's a role leaders play. So I think tumefika hapo sababu wazazi wamefail. The parents have failed. Yes. Before it is you who is approving that child to step out of that house having dressed in a very compromising situation. Who is to blame when something happens to her? So I think the societal fabric is very loose and we have failed in parenting. Kitambo najua ulikuwa ukifanya makosa mtoto anaweza kuchapa kiboko. You belong to the society. Anybody will hold you accountable. And maybe that's why we are not having these issues. But today to each their own. Kila mtoto na mzazi wa, so mzazi asipomshape inabaki society mfunzie na adabu na huko nje. So personally I'll just call before even ask leaders, we can put legislation, we can use the relevant platform to enlighten the girl child, but the parent is at the center of everything. We need to fix our parenting skills.
Ni parenting ama
sababu saa zingine unaona hata ukienda TikTok kwenda social media, so utapata tu ni mzazi amerecord mtoto wake amempaka makeup amemdress skin
wanna dance
for the likes and all that. What are you exposing that child to?
Ndio nikasema ni parenting ama ni society, moral of the society ni kio. Cause najua nasema vukivuki cause there is a time bado the women walikuwa out wa campaign na walikuwa na hashtag pia yao, my dress my choice.
Wow. Wow. That's a good point.
So ni hiyo kitu inaendelea, ndio tunajaribu wademu wetu wanaenda kuipeleka bado kwa watu. Tumepata katoto kadogo manzi kameko kwa TikTok ana twerk. Unaget kamepodolewa umti the moment
being recorded by mamake.
Unapata sema watu wa form 2 hapo form 1 form 2 wanavaa mini skirt wakienda chuo na nguo ya chuo. So I'm like ni wazazi ama ni society yetu vile inakaa.
Is it a mirror effect when it comes to the society?
Do we need to talk about the parenting to change my parents?
The society, the narrative will remain there. But we still have decent, well-dressed girls out there, right? Despite the fact that my dress, my choice, narrative and etc. It is the parent to set the standard.
That's true.
Unajua mtoto akikua in child development 0 to 7 years. They are very keen and they are developing their character at that phase. And they are looking at you as a parent.
Yeah, they say monkey see, monkey do.
After 7 years, akigrow, most of the things anafanya. It is
Zillah,
what you've set precedence. You must take responsibility as a parent.
Okay, sir.
So ni wazazi tu wamefail. So wajite mkutano, wajaribu tuanzie hapo. Tuanzie katika familia kabla tufike kwa jamii.
And what about him and confidence in winning? Do women actually expect to win when they go into elections? Because like you said, it's a patriarch society. Men still call the shots. So could this be the reason also, I can put it like this, that many women are intimidated about getting into the race for elective positions?
To answer his question, vile aliuliza, unajua, I would say, who puts their money where they are not, they are already sure they are going to fail? Nobody. It's just like investing in a business. Unaweka pesa yako mali unajua,
kuna venye kitu ni yako.
So even those women who have offered themselves out there in campaign, they're already spending their resources. They have the courage and the confidence to win. It is only that the society is it mirrors them differently and has set different standards for women as opposed to men, and that's where the challenge is. But I believe with the time it will phase out.
And maneno ya Mombasa, we saw ule Hussein, the MP uko Nyali, alikuwa with a massive demonstration. Actually, they were here even in Nairobi the other day outside the judiciary. They're campaigning against LGBTQ. I'm curious, how is this conversation uko hivyo in Kakamega? And are you in support of LGBTQ having their own sort of lobby groups?
That conversation inaniweka mahali pabaya. You know, as a human rights activist, we are told you must respect everyone's rights.
Decisions,
but you see, for me, where do I start from? I'm a Christian. My religious doctrine does not allow me to see a man and say it is okay. A woman and a woman and say it is okay. Two, I'm an African. That is not our culture. Why should it be forced on us? So personally, me as an individual, I don't support LGBTQ. We must stop the tendency of borrowing everything that is coming from the West and trying to bring that culture here. And I think you see even celebrities, they're setting some precedents by starting to do cross-gender dressing, etc. That's why it starts, and children will start looking into that. Sasa watu wenye wameleta imani LGBTQ, the West, who are been pushing this on us. Why don't they adopt polygamy?
But like for now, like
because Africans are polygamous.
Yes.
Why don't they adopt? They say it is also good because
but as a campaign of human rights,
because our divorce rates are very high, we should just embrace polygamy to make sure.
But as a campaigner, I'm a liberal-minded guy. I believe that every human out here deserves a right to live however they want. Now, constitution in our respect. Where pia ni campaign of human rights, don't you think, Kenyans from different backgrounds, whatever their beliefs and way of life, don't you think they deserve to express themselves the way they want? This is a free country.
Yeah, the same way I just said, I'm a human rights activist. I respect people's personal decision, but I'll always advocate against LGBTQ. It doesn't work. Sasa hata Museveni uliona ile siku aliwaambia
hapa ni UG, hapa ni Kenya.
Na Muhesh, sasa Muhesh, hebu angalie Muhesh.
It's a conversation around the
inaendelea, yeah.
Is this a big conversation in Kakamega?
You know, it is something that has been happening, and now people are starting to come out.
So
it is important we have that conversation. We can't run away from it.
Yeah, like
and
saying
also that starts also with parenting.
Ukiangalia for now na parenting, na parenting. At the same time Kevu ukiangalia unapata sahi vile umesema religion. Kanisa yetu haitukubalishi. Like kanisa yenu sasa yakubalishi, ambao ni Christianity, ambapo unapata like in Kenya, example in Kenya, kanisa kubwa ni Catholic. The Roman Catholic Church is the biggest, ndio kuna followers wengi. In fact, nika 3/4 ya Wakenya wengi ni wa Catholic. Alafu wengine ni Protestant. The Catholic Church kuna somehow imeanza kama kusema wanaweza ikubalisha.
Gay couples wakienda for blessings.
We kama Mkristo.
And you know, interestingly, I also joined the Catholic faith, but it goes back to the word of God. You know, hakuna mahali Biblia inasema a woman shall leave their home and a man leave their home and they shall go and be one. Period. That is the word of God. So however they want to twist this issue and justify, I think such decisions are being made. It is out of external forces and pressure.
Wow.
And I don't know why we are being forced to embrace a culture that is not ours.
Okay.
That we are not comfortable with. I'll never support that. I'm a parent. I don't even imagine one day my daughter is stepping in the house with another girlfriend and saying, hey, I can't see such
they want to get married. Mehesh, let's move on. Arakaraka, in the next 2 minutes. The situation in Meru County, where we are seeing allegedly there's conversations to impeach Governor Mwangaza. This is similar to the situation in Nyamira. If the governor, for example, would be impeached, because the people who are saying, hii ni kwa sababu she's a woman. You guys don't want a woman to lead you. Meru guys, you're so patriarch. Amupendi wanawake in leadership. But other people, especially MCAs, the conversation is mostly amongst MCAs. There's some MCAs who are saying she's just not fit for office. Do you think it's mostly because she's a woman?
Hii maneno ya Meru ni tricky, but one big up watu wa Meru. You did well to elect a woman. You know you can't say all those people voted for her. They made a wrong decision. There is something they saw about her. It is probably her development track record as a women rep that they entrusted her with governorship. So for me, it is not that she lacks the capacity to deliver. I think what is putting her in a compromising situation, one, I think there's also some essence, external forces or witch hunt, because you see the first impeachment came so fast. When she was still implementing budget, your previous assembly, what exactly are the issues that these MCS are bringing
You know,
up.
I asked,
and can they be solved only through impeachment?
We had an MCA for Meru hapa akasema kuna mambo mingi, it's not just about siasa ya external forces. She's actually not up for the job at Mara's abuse of office allegedly, mambo ingine, they're still collecting evidence. But he sounded shaky to me.
Story lazima zikue. Unajua, people must paint you as a bad person to justify that story.
But
so until they table now the real facts that she's practicing nepotism and this what is doing, the husband is doing ABCD. I believe it's politics, and I believe Governor Mwangaza, what has exposed her into impeachment this early is the fact that she was voted in as an independent. Political parties plays a very critical role in also safeguarding its members. You know, for instance, angekuwa na belong to a specific party, tuseme yako UDA, like on MCS, the party would have called MCS wa UDA na iwaambie, huyu ni wetu, and we must protect that seat, period.
But do you think also MCS are bullies?
But for her, she is exposed.
Do you think MCS are bullies? Kuna watu wanasemanga MCS hata wasipokupenda, wakiona tu ati uko na sura mbaya, and they want you out. My friend, you're out. People have said constantly that MCS are making governors' lives hard. Governors implement agenda simply because he has to please MCS. Is it true? Is this narrative true that MCAs are just point blank bullies?
No, MCAs are not bullies. I think it is within our mandate to legislate, to oversight, and to represent our people. So in the process of doing oversight, if there is issues that are coming up, I believe there are ways first that can be exploited to bring the governor into accountable. I think the issue of impeachment should be a last resort. You know, we are very dynamic, and each counties are somehow facing challenges. And you saw there's also another side of the coin, where the governors feel that they should be in total control of the assembly. So I think when we have an assembly operate independently and MCS sticking to their role, that conflicts will somehow fizzle out with time.
All right.
So I wish Governor Mwangaza well.
How do you handle your affairs, by the way, Mhesh, without a kitty, without a fund for MCS? How ukishugilia watu kwa ground, people in your ward wakitaka makazi, nini, handouts, how do you sort them out and you guys don't even have a kitty?
Mi kwanza naurumia elected MC, at least I'm nominated. Unajua ule elected ana choice, akiamka asubuhi crowd iko kwa bomba.
Kwa gate, matanga, nini.
They expect you to be the one financing all this, and it's extremely unfortunate that SRC thought of reviewing MCS salaries down by half. Honestly, you know, in one way they are weakening the MCS, the devolution process. They are weakening MCS when it comes to oversight. Kwa sababu unajua ule MC anatoka kwa nyumba na alikuwa elected, na hiyo pressure ya society yako na wanataka akue kwa Harambee. Unajua salary, hata mimi nikilipa bills zangu tu za nyumba, hiyo pesa imeisha, but they expect when mheshimiwa umeitwa Harambee, shida iko hapa na pale, you have to sort. So you are putting MCA in a very compromised position, whereby they now have to see, how do I work with the governor? At least we are getting something, and he's also operating well. So you are weakening the oversight at the end of the day, and that is a disservice to mwananchi.
All right, as we wrap up,
Masaya mheshimiwa MCA
angaliwe. Mimi kiangalia
wanasema MCA anadharauliwa.
Ni kubaya.
Cheki Mhesh, mimi nikiwa bobo kwa Mwangaza, Governor Mwangaza, kuna mtu tuna reason anasemaje, hii ni witch hunt, ni mambo ya wanawake watakikani kwa leadership. Anasema kuna ma MP, ma governor, ma senator, watu wengi wakubwa pia bado at the same wako na mano makubwa, hadi wengine za mada, wengine za graft, unajua, wengine wamedefile watu. Hizo kesi zote hazijafanya au wanaume wakue impeached. Mother hakuna kesi kama hiyo yako nayo, lakini wameiweka hiyo, lazima akue impeach. So Mhesh, ungekuwa for example ungejipata uko kwa tebuka hiyo, wanaletwa mbele yako, mwanamke ameletwa mbele yako, merit, what are the merit ungefeel zinafaa kutumika kumjudge briefly?
Mi lazima niangalie, does the allegation hold water? Are they real facts, or it's just pure hot air? And sometimes the woman, the bar is set so high. Unfortunately, that's why she fell a victim. For me, I think assembly kona powers mingi sana ya kucontrol executive that they should, if you are saying you want development fund, it is up to you to go and push for legislative process to allow that. If it is about development, unasema hajawaletea maendeleo, who is approving the budget? It is the MCS. So before you pass that budget, ensure what you want in the development aspect in your areas is well catered. Then pass that budget. If not, you make sure that budget fails, it goes back to executive until the interests are being covered. So you see the MCA ako tuna power. So hii story mingi mimi naona tu hawataki kupewa mama amani. Wampe time.
Guys, we've been hanging out with nominated MCA Victoria Zillah Ungai of the Democratic Action Party of Kenya. Kumbuka, today is the International Day of the Girl Child, and we were talking specifically matters women in leadership from the county level. Yeah, so this conversation is ongoing. Skiza guys, tuko hapa hivyo kwa hiyo #MorningVibes. Asante sana Mhesh, Victoria. It's been a good conversation. Salimia watu wetu wa Kakamega. You know we have many listeners there, and very soon we're going to come there to chape reggae ngine noma sana. Thank you so much Mhesh.
Karibuni sana, and we are looking forward to host you. Watu wa Kakamega, hi. I'm glad I'm here representing you people. And thank you for giving women an opportunity to lead. And given an opportunity, give more women an opportunity.
I love
to
that.
Lead. I know we can't fail you people.
Exactly.
And about your nini mnaenda ya Girl Child leo?
Hiyo event iko Mayakalo Primary School. My organization together with the area MCA Honorable Modesta Uko is the female youth elected MCA that we are having, and the chair of youth and sports and gender. We are hosting that event. We are having a conversation with the girl child about the digital space and how they can harness their skills through digital space, and also at the end of the day, how do they make informed decisions as they grow, because you know what I said, what was lacking is mentorship. And constantly holding this conversation with the young girls gives them insight, and they are able to focus on what they're supposed to focus on.
Asante sana Mhesh. Remember guys, today, like I said, International Day of the Girl Child. Now the theme is Digital Generation, Our Generation. Tukirudi at 28 minutes after 8, it is all about mjadala. Na bado iko related to the girl child. Good morning, keep it locked. Don't move.
Nobody can stop reggae.
You're a fairy tale in real.